sure that it goes before I before we start talking and everything. But
Yeah, no problem.
well, there we go. We are live. Welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a wonderful, wonderful Monday night. We have transitioned into October, and it could just be November. We can skip over Halloween. I really think that needs to be the new precedent I'm going to put. Just skip over Halloween because this month is so jam packed. Um, I like October for that reason. I don't know about you guys. Where I'm at, weddings are insane, obviously, right now. So it always feels like I don't really live until November. But no. By the way, in case you noticed, John didn't suddenly like really grow the goatee and like darken his hair and suddenly start talking in a southern drawl. Just a little one. You picked up a little one, Jake. I'm sorry. Just
Did
I
you
noticed a
really?
little bit there.
Wow.
Just tiny, tiny. But
I
I guess
reckon
for
it's
someone
going
who
to happen after a while.
it will, yeah, especially being in Georgia. But for those of you that have not met this gentleman, I cannot believe that we have not had you on the show before, some form or fashion. But for those of you that are maybe, I don't know, living under a rock, this is Daryl Jake Jacobsen. Most people just call him Jake. He is known for multiple things. Wonderful singer in the band that he does when he gets to go back to Jersey, but he's obviously been a mobile DJ. And when you go to DJX, not only has he co-hosted with Michael Alvarez for the past few years, he has also had the distinct pleasure of hosting the game seminar and pulling in some fantastic talent to just kind of come alongside and really teach some great games and dances and everything else. And I'm sure I'm underselling a lot of what he's capable of. But tonight we are not talking about games. We're not talking about DJX. We're talking daddy daughter dances. So Jake, welcome, sir. How you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing great. Dan and Andy, thanks for having me. I was really thrilled to finally be on. It's pretty cool.
Well, that's great. So Jake, when we got talking about daughter dances, this came from a Facebook post. Sometimes people wonder, like, where does this stuff come from? Um, I do daddy daughter dances. I've got another one coming up this fall. But you had posted a photo and some feedback on Facebook one time about a daddy daughter dance you did. And when I started hearing about it, it sounded very different from the direction that I went. And so when I got thinking, I'm like, you know what? I got another one coming up. I want to try something new. Or at least try something different, maybe not new, but try something a little different. I was like, what better way than for us to really chat about this, and share it with all of our listeners. So, if you are paying attention, as you know, when John is not here, the only chat that I am able to see is the one on our YouTube channel. If you are chatting on Facebook, if you're chatting on our second YouTube channel, I'm not going to see it. So you want to make sure you're on the Disc Jockey News Facebook channel. If you drop any questions here throughout the night, I will pass them along to the gentleman. Or if you just want to kind of weigh on your 2 cents, we would love to see it there as well. So first off, hi, Mikey Mike. Day, thank you very much for joining us. Eric back again. And I'm hoping, hopes and prayers and everything going out to Robin because she's in the path. Milton does not like her, it looks like. So we're gonna hope everything goes well. But um I my brain goes like this, so I apologize. But uh how do you recall like how the daddy daughter thing started for you?
Well, back in the day, and this is going back 20 years, past 20 years actually, I worked for a mobile op. And back when there were a lot of parties that have disappeared over the years, parties that no one has anymore. I can't remember the last time I did a confirmation party. I can't remember the last time I did a silver anniversary party. Remember, they used to have silver anniversary party for 25-year marriages. There's parties that have departed. But one thing that has always come a couple times in a year, depending on the region that you live in, is a daddy daughter dance. And I'll be honest, when I had no clue what that was or what it meant. I was okay, I'm going to have a dance and there's going to be fathers and daughters. Yeah, back in the day, we didn't have the education that we have now at our fingertips. I just went there and I kind of just, did it like a normal party, but I wasn't a dad. I didn't have any insight into what it meant to be a dad. I was good with kids. I was always good with kids, so I just tried to entertain them. But what happens at a party when you don't know really what to do at a father-daughter dance is you basically have a large group of young girls running around in circles and dads holding up the walls as they watch, they might dance to a slow song with their daughter at some point. But other than that, they're not really doing a whole lot. And as I went through the years, I guess one thing about me is I just cannot stand to be ordinary. I have this, there are a lot of things I am very ordinary as far as being a business person. I'm pretty good at sales, but I'm ordinary in so many things like marketing and, uh, the things that I wish I was better at. I'd probably be a lot better well off financially. There's a lot of things I'm not really that good at. But what I've always excelled at is performance and thinking outside the box and thinking along with, having empathy for my crowds. And then I think everything I do turned up a notch when I became a dad myself and had a girl, because that empathy of knowing what's going through, and not only that, having been at a few father-daughter dances with my daughter, where the DJ just did absolutely nothing but the stuff I probably did years ago. The thing is, father-daughter dances, what makes them so great and what makes them stand out, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is, people may gasp, but I think I'd rather do a father-daughter dance than a wedding. As odd as that might sound, it will definitely take you a moment. No, you're just kidding. But it really is true. A father-daughter dance is your opportunity to take a bunch of dads who have no clue. They're thinking that they're going to go in and hold up the wall because that's what they've always done at father-daughter dances, and give them an opportunity to bond with their daughter in a way that they did not expect. And if you do it the right way, the one thing that you need to do is first of all, talk to the dads at the beginning of the party. So once I've got all the dads in there, I kind of make sure I get their attention. The girls are ready to go. They're there. They're all dolled up. Their moms dressed them up in their little dresses, and they took pictures before they left. Moms are so into dressing their daughters up. But the dads, a lot of dads, they don't know really what to expect. They're just going to go there. They're probably going to have some food. So what I want to do is I want to get the dad's attention. And I always start off by telling them how much I envy them, because my daughter is 20 now. There's no more father-daughter dances for us. But I tell them that they're going to have the unique experience of having a night with their daughter that they will always remember if they're willing to get out of their comfort zones, if they're willing to come out of their shells and get on the dance floor and truly have a great time with their daughter. And I tell them, if you're not doing anything, I'm going to call you out on it. So you better be out with your daughter the whole night. And it just starts like that little piece of guilt, I guess, a subtle guilt, but knowing that you're going to get called out usually gets the dads out there. And from that point, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. And when you play, say, a slow song for father-daughter dance, instead of just playing a slow song, you can make the dads do stuff during those songs. They can twirl them around, they can pick them up, they can just make sure that they're doing different dance moves if they're holding more than one daughter, because sometimes they bring multiple daughters to these things. You want them to be able to interact with the girls. That's why it's great. Like if you're going to play a song like My Girl, instead of just playing the song, have all the dads sing it to the girls. You'd be really surprised if you tell all the dads that they're going to be singing. You'd be really surprised to hear how many dads. You got maybe 100 or 200 dads with their daughters, and you'll hear every one of the dads sing. And it's music from heaven when you hear the dads, because you know that they mean every word of it. When they're singing to their little girls, they mean every word of that My Girl part, and you can almost feel it come through. And once you start them like down that road, you start to play, if you're going to do a game, if you're going to do a dance, you start to make it really interactive. Interaction is the key, and to make the dads feel rewarded for it. So there's a couple things I like to set up too, because I want the dads to be successful with their wives. there's always a thing where I will ask the girls if they would like to sing in my microphone. And, you know, there are a bunch of Beyoncés and Taylor Swifts out there who would love to sing into a microphone. And I give the dads the opportunity to be a superstar for their wives and get some video. So I'll put a song on like Let It Go or Space on the dance floor, and I'll tell them whoever I hear singing the loudest is the one I'm going to let sing in the microphone. And of course, the plan is to let all of them sing on the microphone. And I tell all the dads, make sure they have their cameras out, make sure you're getting video of this. You don't want to miss this. And then I go and I make sure every single girl who wants to sing gets a chance to sing along with the song. And from a dad point of view, they got that important video for their wives that they're going to need. And they've also gotten to witness something really fun, that it's one time that they don't have to be involved on the dance floor. Now, as far as doing things on the dance floor with the girls, like one of my first things I love to do, I know we were going to talk games, but games are important. So I'm going to go and tell you a few things that I do, some specific games I play. Not even games, I don't even know what you're going to call this, but I ask everybody if they would like to go to Hawaii. And usually I don't know anyone who wouldn't want to go to Hawaii. So I will I will tell all the little girls that they are now hula girls. And I make them all demonstrate a hula dance for me. And then I tell all the dads that they're going to be palm trees. So I want you to imagine you got a bunch of little girls, you know, doing this little hula girl thing. And I make all the dads put their arms out and become palm trees. And I tell the dads they got to sway in the breeze back and forth. And then I put on Aloha-O. See that song that says, well, now the girls start doing I have the girls, I make them hula around their dads. I make them go the other way. And then to the delight of the girls, I make them switch. And I tell all the dads that they're now hula girls and all their daughters are palm trees. You want to see a bunch of really happy little girls at that moment. Watch their dads get emasculated. And what's fun is like every dad's doing it. You know, you got a whole bunch of dads and they're all looking like fools. And the great part about it is that they're all doing it together. You know, it's not just one dad. If you emasculate yourself and every other guy in the room is also emasculating themselves, that breaks the ice. Once you break the ice with the dads and get them to allow themselves to be a fool, they'll do almost anything. And from that point on, you have them in the palm of your hands. As far as kind of like advanced thinking, have you ever heard of like the Jinx challenge, where it's a thing where if two people say the same thing at the same time is a Jinx challenge. So if two people say the same word, what I have them do is I have them put their hands up against each other. So now you've got that little connection here. And I'll tell them something like, on the count of three, you're going to name a breakfast cereal. And you're going to have to say it together at the same time. I'll go through it. So I'm like, 1, 2, 3, and that's where they say it. So, you know, you say 1, 2, 3, and maybe they both say Cheerios. The thing is about this game, you'd be surprised. It's almost 100% of the dads and daughters get it right. Now, if there's a small group, if it's a small dance, I'll go individually and do this. I'll go like team to team. But if I've got 100 dads in the room, you can't really do that because, you know, it'd take forever to go up to each one. So I'll just be like, did you get it right? How many of you got it right? And they'll usually all yell that they did. What the key to this is you want to make an environment where they're going to get it right. Notice the question I asked was, name a breakfast cereal. They share the same cabinet. If I say name a pizza topping, they're ordering their pizza every week probably. They probably get the pepperoni or the meatballs or whatever. So the thing is that I set them up with questions that they probably know the answer to anyway. Name a type of dog. If they've got a collie at home or a German Shepherd, both of them are going to say German Shepherd, right? The thing is, you're creating a bonding moment for the dads and daughters. I'll ask about 30 things, and it takes a little while to do this. But they're just so amazed, and both the girls and the dads have no idea why. They just think they have this wonderful connection, and I don't get in the way of it. I just let that happen. And I let the dads just think that they have this just unreal connection with their little girl. And the little girls are so thrilled because they have this unreal connection with their dad. You can see where I'm going here. This kind of thing sets up everything else you want to do at a daddy-daughter dance. So that's one of my games. Those are a couple things that I like to do. If you'll let me indulge me for another moment, another great thing is, have you ever heard of the crazy dance? That's where you change the song every 20 seconds or so. You play like 20 songs. Mike Walter actually gave me his version of it. Got to be 15 years ago. But it starts off with "In the Mood" by Glenn Miller, and it goes and it does things like the tango, the electric slide, YMCA, Staying Alive, Twist, and all those things. And you make them their dance partners for all this. And I usually make sure I have a prize that I can give all the kids, so everybody gets a prize at the end. I tell them I can't pick a winner. They all win, and they just all get a prize. And they're just all really happy. And before I even do that, I'll set it up. There's a guy who was on our DJ business. He was really great. His name was Brad Gertz. And he had this game he showed at one of my seminars years ago called Peace, Love, and Happiness. So before I do this dance, I usually will play Peace, Love, and Happiness. And what that is you have the dad and the daughter, they're staring at each other. And I tell them when I say peace, you throw up a peace sign at each other and you go, peace. And they will do that. And then for happiness, I'll have them, they have to hold hands together, put them up in the air and say, yeah. And for love, they have to put their arms around each other and go, ah. So I will just make them do that and I make it go faster. I'm like, peace, peace. And they're repeating after me, peace, happiness, yeah, love, aw, peace, peace. And you're just bouncing it back and forth. And after you do that, I add a couple other little things into that. And then I'll start with this dance contest. You get 100% involvement. They dance their butts off to the entire thing. So right there are just some of the things that you can do to be really successful. Go ahead, Andy.
Wow, I can feel your passion and I can clearly tell that you're an expert because you're throwing all sorts of stuff at us. And I've written down a couple questions. When you do the you can't pick a winner, is it like, do you throw candy? Is that because you say you want to give everybody something? So would it be like a bag of candy that you're kind of throwing out for them to what kind of prizes do you give for your games that you play? Because like I said, I just wonder what you're doing.
The great thing about young girls is that, they run with the philosophy of all children. If it's for free, it's for me. So if I can get whoever's hired me, I will ask them to get prizes. And I tell them, tchotchke kind of stuff, nothing really crazy. But if I have to bring the stuff myself, I might bring maracas, I might bring tambourines, leis. There's so many little things you can bring. Or sometimes I'll put like little hair ribbons because they are, it's all for girls. So I'll get hair stuff, light up hair stuff. There's no wrong thing. I mean, the kids will take anything. So you could give them yo-yos or whistles, whatever, as long as you have enough for everybody, they're going to love it.
Love those ideas because I went to candy. And then
before we go too, candy's great.
But no, I mean, I was, when you were going other directions other than candy, and I was like, okay, maybe those tchotchke rings or whatever, because like little heart rings or something.
Yeah.
But going back, and I apologize, I keep going back.
No, go back.
So the singing of the song, when you try to get each young lady to sing, and you talked about 200, close to 200 people being there, some larger, some smaller, and you want everybody to sing. So do you back up like 2 songs, like a Let It Go into Don't Tell Me About Bruno? Yeah. How many songs, how much time do you give them? And do you do like a 2-song set, or do you do
believe it or not, I can usually get through all the kids in one song.
Can you? Okay.
I really can. If because Blank Space, and it's funny because the first quarter of the song they're not singing, but now I'm taking the microphone and I'm just putting it in. So now, like, I'm not giving them like a whole verse to sing. I'm just giving them a few words, a line, and they're out, a line, and they're out. But if they're really into it, I'll back up like Let It Go with Blank Space, because every little girl. I would imagine some songs that are probably going to be getting bigger as they hit. I would have said as it is, probably something like Hot to Go is going to be another song, even though it's got very suggestive lyrics. I don't know, think the little kids know it yet, but they will. That song is going to be everywhere, just like YMCA. I don't know. Hot to Go is kind of like YMCA and Mickey had a baby for me.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we don't talk about Bruno. There's so many that you could probably go with any, Lion King, Hakuna Matata. There's really, Disney is wonderful for playing for that age and getting people to sing. And Taylor Swift, you can't go wrong. Um, you Belong with Me. They probably know all the lyrics to that. Go to a school dance right now. You'll have at least, I just had a school dance. I did a homecoming, which is high school, and I had 5 requests for Taylor Swift hey, these are high school seniors as they're, asking for Taylor Swift. So, the little girls are asking for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, listen, actually, I prefer you. If you guys have questions, hit me up. I'd love to answer stuff.
So I'll be honest with you. When we were talking about this initially, and seeing that post, there's a lot more interaction than I was thinking. Like, I know you as an interaction person. So
Mhm.
when I was seeing it, I was thinking you were doing it more, I don't want to say more in the traditional style, but this is a dance and the dads are dancing with the daughters. And I'm just going, okay, he's got some trick up his sleeve, which it is. It's this interaction piece. And I would say, for those of you that have kids, you have to have an interaction piece. Like, the kids are not going to be there for the one by me. It's a 2-hour party. They're not going to be there for a 2-hour party unless you're doing something to hook them, and having them have a good time. So these have been key. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, here's some other, just coming to me, some other crazy ideas I've had over time. I have a playlist. I will line the dads up across from their daughters in a straight line. So it's like almost like you were going to do a stroll line, except they're facing each other. And then I make them sing against each other. Like, I'll give the girls, I'll have all the girls sing Dance Monkey or one, a Taylor Swift song, and then I'll turn that off and I'll go to the dads. I'll have a quick transition. I'll be like, and now the dads, and I'll put on the chorus from Sweet Child of Mine and let all the dads sing that. And then I'll go back, like, it's quick cuts. Now all the girls, and I'll put a song on that I know all the girls can sing to. Then I'll cut it like Hakuna Matata or, whatever is popular at a particular time. Then you zip back to the dads and pour some sugar on me. Back to the girls, do this. Back to the dads, you shook me all night long. Back to another Taylor Swift song, a Sabrina Carpenter song, one of these, a Dua Lipa song, some song of that nature. And you're just letting the girls sing, letting the dads sing, and there's no prize. You're just killing time. But when you're playing songs that the dads like and they're all singing together, remember, you've broken the ice with them. Now you're doing what I like to call killing time in the most fun way possible. When you're doing a father-daughter dance, the eventual ending is where you want to get to, with everybody breathless and happy and euphoric. So, what kind of things can you do to kill the most time and make them have the most fun? Uh, it's kind of like, that's kind of what school dances are and all, but with father-daughter dances, because you're doing so many interactive things, you want to keep coming up with stuff, and they don't have to have prizes at the end of them. They just have to be fun. So you're playing music that the little girls like, then you're giving the dads some music they like. Most dads don't think they're going to hear any cool songs when they go to a father-daughter dance. They're going to have to listen to Dance Monkey and Baby Shark and whatever. And now all of a sudden they're listening to AC/DC and Zeppelin and all that stuff. So you all of a sudden make the dads really happy, and the dads are totally into it. They watch their girls dance for a moment, for 60 seconds, and then they get to sing with all the other dads. Sometimes the dads are putting their arms around each other while they're singing it, and they really, get passionate about singing. So I think the best thing that this leads into is I give away a lot of cards at these parties. I give away a lot of cards. And I book a lot of parties off my father-daughter dances. It gets around to the other schools. which is ironic because I don't consider myself a school DJ. I really am not a guy who likes doing school dances. I just keep getting hired for them for whatever reason.
Well, quit being so damn good. So Jake, going back to your singing with your dads, do you find that 60 seconds is that sweet spot? Or is it how long do you decide to let them sing?
Verse and a chorus.
Okay.
So if it has an iconic beginning, I might play the iconic beginning and then cut it, go to another cue point where it starts the singing, let the dad sing the verse, go into the chorus. And I do the same thing with the girls. You want to give them, if it's a great iconic beginning, you might want to play that. But if not, go right to the lyric. If it's not an iconic song, if it's not this song that just has this amazing beginning, go right to the verse. Let them start singing as soon as they hear the words start going, because you've already told them that they're going to be, rapid fire. It's going to be happening rapid fire. They already know that's happening. And once you start doing it, they understand it's rapid fire. So they just jump on, you're playing songs they know. If I started right now with Living on a Prayer, if I just started right at, Tommy used to work on the dock, you'd pick right up on it and start singing along. You know the song. So, if I started playing the YMCA and you just heard Young Man, you immediately jump in. That's what happens with these. You're just hitting them with the good stuff. Let them sing, let them enjoy themselves. You can kill, I'm going to tell you, you can kill about a half hour with that, just doing that one little thing. Another thing you could play with them is the Big Squeeze. This is another fun one. Have you guys ever seen the Big Squeeze? It's great with.
Assume we haven't, even if we have.
Okay, I'm going to assume you haven't. Big Squeeze is you get a group of people together. And I'm just going to give this as just anybody. You get groups of people together, and you make them get into shapes. You give them a time limit to get into a shape. So you start with something easy, maybe a triangle. And you have to use, every person has to be used to make it. And you go from something really simple like a triangle to maybe a dog. I want you to become the shape of a dog, and I want a head, I want paws, I want a tail. Or I want a shark, and I want to see the shark's mouth, I want fins, I want everything. You can get a little harder. I would make a school bus, make a roller coaster, make a spaceship. I want all of you to become one person. I want you to make a person out of all of you, make one big person. Stuff like that keeps them super busy.
That's crazy. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm loving this because I will say this. I'll admit this is selfish, right? Like, because I've got this one coming up, and I've done this for this school like a bunch of times in the past few years. And I've done the same shtick, if we will, over and over and over again. And I'm just like, and the dads are still like, they're coming up to me and they're like, we loved it. Thank you so much. Because their daughter's completely exhausted. They got to be a wallflower with the exception of maybe about 15 minutes out of the entire night. And so like, yeah, but I'm like, I feel like I need to do different, and not, I don't want to say more, I need to do different. So these are awesome.
Yeah. Well, listen, any of these types of things, I should probably come in here and talk about just games in general sometime. You basically use the right tool for the right job. When you're going after, the first thing you're going, little girls are not hard to get to dance. They're the easiest group in the world to get to dance. There is no easier group of people to get to dance than little girls. Getting dads to dance is a lot harder. The other, it's kind of funny because on the flip side of this thing, if you've ever done a mother-son dance, it still holds true. All the moms want to dance, and getting their sons to dance is really difficult. So if you do a mother-son dance, you have to use a lot of psychology to get the boys to do it, which you could bring me in for that because I use a completely different psychology for mother-son dances. There's not as many of those, but when you do them, you need to do things to get the moms, the moms are already involved, but the boys just want to run around in circles. So you got to be more strategic to get them to go. But I know we're talking father-daughter stuff, but
Well, I mean, let's pause for a second because there is a question that I kind of want to go back to, and then maybe we can switch gears to a little bit of the mother son and just kind of give some different philosophies on that because just because it wasn't the topic doesn't mean that somebody hasn't been thinking about it. Um, earlier on, I gotta go back to my notes. I took so many other, like I keep looking down because I'm writing like a page and a half for everything you're saying. Um, when you're typically doing these, so you mentioned schools. Are you finding, because for example, Mikey Mike in the chat said, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really having any in my area. I think there are. Where do you typically find your clients are coming from?
But I got called for one just out of the blue, and I'm guessing they must have Googled me or maybe they did a Facebook search. And I just told them how much I love doing them. This is now, I'm here in Georgia, so I had to completely redo myself. I don't market for this. I don't market for schools, period, at all. But I told this woman how much I love doing father-daughter dances, and I started telling her about some of the stuff that I do, like you guys, like I'm telling you guys. And she loved the idea. And when I went in there, I must have absolutely smoked the last DJ that they'd had. Probably they'd had a bunch of DJs, and I mopped up the floor with them because they were not, not doing the things to.
Just playing music.
They're just playing music, really. And here I am with all my interactive, working with them and the dads, and word gets out, I guess, when you do that. And some of the school administrators, some of the teachers, they move to new schools, they bring you with them. They say, we had this guy. I just there's so many times I do very little advertising. My advertising is very much word of mouth. But if you work really hard at the events you're at and totally give of yourself, I'm very OG. I've always considered it I don't want to get all cornball, but it's an honor when people hire you, when they put their faith in you to do something. And I take it very seriously, whether it's a father-daughter dance, a school dance, a picnic, a wedding, whatever it is, I go out and I give it my all. And I always try to find ways of entertaining that they might not have thought of before. When I was in New Jersey, we had a lot of baptisms. Those died. That's another one of those parties. Remember when people used to have baptism parties? Up in New Jersey, we used to have a lot of them.
In the Midwest, Cubbie, they didn't do those things. Even in PA, we had them for a little bit, but
yeah, they used to be really popular. But the thing is, they were always on a Sunday, and they were like from 12 to 4, 1 to 5, and getting people to dance at these things was almost murder, to try to get somebody dancing. So I would try to do things where I would like make photo ops. And maybe I can't get them dancing, but if they were going to cut the cake, if they're going to do something with the cake, I'd make this huge thing out of like getting different people involved, and that way I could get on the microphone and do a little MC work, try to entertain people, making fun of them when they go up to the cake, how they're posing, how they're doing stuff, just trying to create some sort of entertainment factor that is different from what they thought they were going to go see. Because so often they just get to these places and they sit there and listen to background music the whole time, which is, like I said before, it's just not my style.
So are you mainly doing schools then, or do you have churches that are involved with this? Or
I've gotten hired. I've done churches. I've done schools. I haven't marketed for any of it. It's just the word has got out. And
yeah, I'm not saying you're marketing with that aspect. I was just kind of
well, I
curious.
mean,
For somebody who's like, I don't know if they're doing in my area, where would I look?
oh, I mean, definitely hit up the schools because most of the schools put them out. If you reach out to if you can get somebody, the PTO president, sometimes it's people in the office, but usually if you can grab a PTO president, ask some questions. Who is the person? Are you having a father-daughter dance? Do you do school dances? You can, when I first moved down here, I had to be way more aggressive because I literally started from zero. And I was, nothing. I was kind of a whore. I needed to get everything I could get. I've got 4 kids. I got a house. I got to take care of it. So I was going crazy trying to get anything I could get. So marketing yourself to anybody and anybody for anything became kind of my mantra. And it's kind of still is. Where a lot of DJs will focus completely on weddings or maybe weddings and mitzvahs. I know a lot of companies that like that's their thing, just weddings and mitzvahs. If they do anything else, it's an outlier. But I find other events to be so challenging to take on, well, I used to love when I was in New Jersey, we had a lot of communions, which are 8 and 9-year-old kids. Down here in the South, there's very few Catholic people. I haven't done a communion now in over 6 years. But in New Jersey, the first Saturday of May for the DJ business, we called it Communion Saturday. That Saturday that most people think of as the Kentucky Derby, we thought of as Communion Saturday. And everybody I knew had tons of communions. Whether you were a wedding DJ or not, you probably had a million calls for communions. And the thing is, I got really, really good at them. I like the age group. That group of 8 and 9-year-olds, they haven't gotten too cool yet. And they just want to play games. Just give me another game, give me another game. And I started to market myself to the parents. Hey, listen, when you have a party, wouldn't you like to talk to everybody and not have to be answering, having your kid pull on your arm or pull on your pant leg all the time? I would tell them when I'm there, I take them as soon as the party starts, as soon as I've got them, I will funnel them to the dance floor. The second they come into the room, I would have a dancer with me, or a motivator. I'd have a girl with me. Kids would come in. I'd instantly funnel them to the dance floor, and I would have this ongoing game of duck, duck, goose. And I would have my girl out there, and the kids would come in, funnel right to the dance floor. We'd play this game of duck, duck, goose till we had everybody. And then bang, I just start going into games and dances. I would do them until food. And usually that lasted about 5 minutes because kids, when they want to play, eat in ridiculously short amounts of time. But I just kept them going for, whatever the party was, almost 4 hours. It was just one game, one dance after the other. I made money on the party packages that I would sell, for the giveaways and stuff. I would have them buy all that stuff through me. One-stop shop. You don't have to do anything else. But since I've been down here, I don't do that. I haven't seen a communion since I've been here. Sad.
I think one of the things that a lot of people who, how do I word this? I feel sometimes the daddy daughter dance gets downplayed in a lot of aspects, and some of that to the fact that obviously I'm assuming, at least for years, they're not paying like a wedding does. And so for a
No,
lot of us, it's kind of like, okay, I'm not going to do that. And I think one of the problems that we also run into is like when we get that call for it and we give them a price, whatever that price may be, they're like, oh, that's like way too much. But I think it's because the last however many DJs that they've hired have been the one that's come in and basically hit play and then hit play. And it's been nothing for them in that time. So why would they want to pay something more?
true.
And so it becomes that opportunity where if they're not familiar with that interaction, so you haven't had an opportunity to do what Jake has done. I'm not saying you sell yourself on the cheap, but I'm saying you might need to do something to get him in because these can be huge money makers for the organization as well. Um, I'll put the local one that I'm doing here. They're advertising it as $40 per couple. So dad and a daughter to come to this event, $40. They're going to get like 200-300 people at least at this.
Yeah.
There is money that is there for that. Because the other things is dads and daughters, they're going to pay it. Why? Because they're not involved in 20 other organizations that are having a daughter dance. They might have their one school, maybe their one church, at max two, and most likely not. So I would encourage you, if you're liking what you're hearing tonight, if you're liking the stuff that Jake has talked about, if you feel it fits in your wheelhouse or you want to step out of the comfort zone to learn something and learn a new area to perform in, open yourself up to that, or open yourself up to doing those kind of things that are going to make you worth what it is going to be to prove to them, hey, this is, what, this is why I was that price. And let's talk differently for next year because I just proved to you that it can happen. So
And you know, like you just said, you can tell them, listen, I usually don't do this for this price, but I want to show you what I can do. You know, make sure they know that it's not going to be this price next year. I'm giving you a huge bargain basement discount just so I can prove myself. And if you do really, really well, and you know, I've actually had people call me up asking to pay more money because they thought I did too much the first time. And I'm like, it's funny when you charge what you think is a really good amount of money and they still want to give you more money. I don't know. I don't turn that down, obviously, but it does mean you're doing something right.
and the other thing is you can find yourself, with a great group that you're working with and working to, and sometimes they have those organizations. So yeah, most likely you're not going to turn a daddy-daughter dance into a wedding, but you might be able to, as Jake said, turn those interactions with those school administrators and those PTO people into something, and those teachers into something that might be a school dance, that might be something that has some other upsell asks esque type pieces to it.
Well, I've booked like a ton of other parties off of these things that are not even kid related, birthday parties and engagement parties. I've booked weddings off of it too. I just booked a wedding off the party. I just did a homecoming dance on Saturday and I booked a wedding off of it. One of the teachers is getting married.
Oh,
Love
I was like, wow, that's kind of early.
Yeah, I mean, but one of the teachers saw me, loved what I did, loved my sound system, how I interacted, and I thought it was very odd to ask a DJ that you're watching doing a high school dance, but a lot of times you can turn this into other stuff. They trust you, they figure, and especially when you tell them, you make sure you say, listen, kid dances are not my thing. If you think I'm good at this, just imagine how I am at an adult dance, what I'm really good at, what I do, what's my bread and butter. So if you can make sure people know that you're not just doing this one thing, uh, a lot of times that works in your favor too.
Nice, nice. Cubby, anything else that you might want to throw in there or
Um,
add?
what are you gonna touch on mother sons real quick? A couple
Oh
games you
yeah,
play
we
with
said we're
mother
gonna back up to that.
sons because it really does go coincide with father daughter. I mean,
It does.
so just a little bit of it, maybe touch on a little bit.
I'm gonna give you one thing to do at a mother. It's like so we don't go on forever, but I'm gonna give you something to do at a mother son dance. Some sons are great when you tell them to hug their mother. They have that relationship with their mom. They'll go hug their mom. And I'm one of them. I never had a mother. I never went to a mother son dance, but it never took me anything to go hug my mom. I always wanted to hug my mom, and I wouldn't have been emasculated by it. But there are some boys who don't want to do that stuff. And I think if one doesn't, I assume that none of them do. So my youngest son, is one of those boys who is not a hugger. He doesn't want to hug and kiss his mother. And I felt bad for my wife because she just wants that affection so bad that she can't get. So I came up with this thing at a dance I was doing. My wife was at it. It was a mother-son dance. My wife was there. And I'm thinking, how can I get my son to hug her? And I came up with something. It worked so well that I've pretty much done it at every mother-son dance I've ever done since. So I tell the boys I want them to take 3 steps back. And then I want them to run at their mother, and I want them to jump in their arms and squeeze them as hard as they can. So you're basically making them hug them,
Yeah.
but they don't know that. And because you're building it up like it's all right, get back. You ready? You got 3 steps. You're going to run up. You're going to put your arm around your mother. You're going to squeeze her as hard as you can. You're pushing that. And then the boys that come running, and all you see is a bunch of happy mothers going, ah. Loving that moment. You've just set up an opportunity for the mom to get a hug from a kid that's really hard to get a hug from. And if you do so, and another point, if you are doing a party and there's little girls at it, and you if you're doing a party with kids, a communion or some kind of birthday party where the little girl's going to dance with her dad, you play that father-daughter dance. But if you really want to get some bonus points with the mom, put on something like in my daughter's eyes and dedicate it to all the moms and their daughters. I can't even tell you how many parties and how many compliments I've gotten from moms who told me I never get to dance with my daughter. All the dads get to dance with their daughters all the time. And you drop a nugget like that where you tell, this is for all the moms who never get to dance with their daughters, and hit, something like In My Daughter's Eyes. They'll go nuts. They'll go nuts for you. So
awesome.
have I imparted enough wisdom? Have I imparted?
You have. My brain's about to explode. And
Gold. It's gold.
I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of this. So, and any last second pieces you would throw in? I mean, you've shared so much. I don't want to
just, whatever you're doing, empathy. Look at the dads, or I mean, it works the same way within every crowd, but let's just stick with the dads. Put yourself in their shoes. They might have been working all day. They might be tired. They might, you have to change their point of view. I did a seminar, something, I remember Steve Moody used to have these things, and these beginnings where he would have the DJ All-Stars. And I did this quick segment on what you do before you open the room, before you introduce everybody. I called it an elegant pep rally. And that's where you get people, you get their minds right. When people come into a party, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a birthday party, whether it's a mitzvah, whether it's a corporate event, you need to get people's heads in the game. So what I do with all those other parties, I kind of do the same thing with the dads. I know they're tired. I know this is Friday night. They probably want to go home and watch a ball game. And even though they love their daughters, just one more thing they got to do before they can relax for the weekend. And you just want to get them out. You want to get that mindset and make them think that this moment that they're having with their daughter is far better than any of that stuff they could have done. This is better than the ball game. This is better than going out and having a beer with your friends. This actually, if you get to them, it tops it big time. So maybe I'll leave it with that.
Well, Jake, if anybody wanted to reach out to you and pick your brain about anything, or maybe even just wanted to hit you up and say, "Hey, hi, I'm in Georgia. What's up?" What would be the best way to go about reaching you?
Well, find me on Facebook, Daryl Jake Jacobsen. My company is A2R, letter A, number 2, letter R Entertainment. I'm on Instagram at A2R Entertainment. I'm pretty easy to find. If you want to text me, my cell phone number is 908-601-4837. You can Facebook message me or text message me. My email is jake@a2rentertainment.com. And I've always tried to give back to the DJ industry. It's something I've been very passionate about. I spent the first 17 years of my DJ existence working for a multi-op. And I didn't know any other DJs. We never talked to anybody. I didn't know anybody. And I really never met other DJs until I went to my very first DJX in 2003, which completely opened my eyes to the joy and the experience of networking. And I have tried so many. When I went out on my own, I knew nothing about how to sell, how to market. I knew nothing about business. And people who I'm still really close to helped me. They taught me, and they made me better. And I could never do a bar or bat mitzvah. I had some Jewish friends in New Jersey who made me real menches, made me awesome at them. But you don't get anywhere in life without help. So people have helped me a lot to get to where I am, and I've always tried to give that back. And hopefully something I've said tonight will make somebody's dance or party a little bit better. That would make me very happy.
Awesome. Well, Jake, Cubbie, thank you very much, both of you. Coming up, we've got the Chill Room. DJNTV.com/chill. That is where you want to go. We'll be hanging with Boston John tonight. And then tomorrow night, best event show is happening at 9. 10 o'clock is the Tuesday night music show. Again, back in the DJNTV.com/chill. And then Wednesday night, 9 and 10, you've got the replays of both of those events. So you can check all those out, be a part of it. And for some reason, if you're not on the email list, like that I just had to like read that from, let us know. We'll get you hooked up on that so you can be aware of all the shows and when they're happening. So thank you very much. You have yourself a great night, and we will see you all next time.
Thanks for having me, guys.